Many people don't realize how scarce natural water is for us in Singapore. There was a UN report. They listed out all the countries in terms of water scarcity. Singapore came out third from the bottom. We were ranked amongst the desert countries. That was how little, how scarce rain is to us here in Singapore. I joined government service as an engineer in Public Works Department. That was sometime in 1967. I started on the water story 1-2 years after I joined PWD. That was when the PM, Lee Kuan Yew in those days, decided to form a water planning unit because he had the foresight to see that in order for Singapore to exist as an independent, sovereign nation, we got to tackle the water issue. That makes it all the more challenging. It's a national issue. It's a question of survival. When we first started, we had 3 small reservoirs, MacRitchie, Pierce, Seletar. Next, you need a catchment to catch the rain, channel the rainwater into the reservoir. And we realized that even if we were to build more reservoirs, it still will not be enough for the long-term water supply of Singapore. So the only other alternative is to look at water reuse. We incorporated it inside the Water Master Plan that we should go for water reuse. No technology available, nothing developed yet. So the Water Master Plan is more a dream, you would say, than a specific plan. What is before us at that time is so much of the catchment is not tapped for water supply because it's too polluted. Singapore River is one of them. It was Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, our first Prime Minister, in 1977 at the opening ceremony of the Upper Pierce Reservoir. He issued a challenge that we should clean up Singapore River. He gave us a time frame of 10 years to do so. There has to be a whole of government effort. There were many other issues. For example, the bomb boats thrived on Singapore River in the early days. Bomb boats will carry goods from the ships outside up Singapore River, and along the way, of course, the river cluttered out, all the solid waste all there in the river. So we had to phase out all the bomb boats. But actually, we started on the cleaning up of the catchments well before we came to Singapore River cleaning up. No use cleaning up the river when the water coming in is so polluted. One of the very significant initiatives that we started was to lay sewers for the entire island. Prior to that, we had a lot of night soil. I remembered so well when all of Singapore was sewered. So I lined up all my engineers in those days and we clapped hands as the last night soil bucket came rolling in. We told Lee Kuan Yew about it and he said, now we can leave behind the poverty of the past. I must confess that Singapore River in the early days is very colorful. The day came when it's all gone and all cleaned up and I kept asking myself, oh dear, what have I lost? But there was a big bird. He was flying up there. Then suddenly he took a dive, head in first into Singapore River, came out with a fish. I said, oh my goodness, it's a different scenery, something to be proud of. A sense of fulfillment.
In 1987, when the cleaning up was completed, Mr. Lee again posed another challenge. In 20 years' time, let there be a barrage at the mouth of the Marina channel. The main benefit will be for water supply, but secondary to that will be the benefit of eliminating tidal water from going into our rivers and causing flood problems like in the past. Because this is reclaimed land. We would have to be very careful, especially when we are building the foundation. The other thing that is challenging is the fact that at the time when we were building, it was a live navigational channel. So there was a huge engineering challenge like this.
I was part of the celebrations when we opened the Marina Barrage in 2008. One of the most gratifying moments is when they put me in charge as the general manager of Marina Barrage. So it gives me a sense of pride to offer something beyond flood control, water supply. We not only take care of the operations but take care of the recreational spaces and managing the visitors, and that makes me happy.
It's very satisfying, especially when you walk along the waterfront, to see this very refreshing body of water, how much that have added on to the quality of the space. This is the thing that we carry with us for those of us who are involved in this project.
The growing population and industrialization, obviously that really poses a challenge to us because we have to provide the infrastructure to cope with the increasing wastewater.
The DTSS was conceived in the mid-1990s, and it was always envisaged to be delivered in 2 phases.
It is basically a very large sewer pipe, very deep underground, and it becomes the superhighway for conveyance of sewage. It simply works by gravity. There is no need for pumping.
The underground space in Singapore has become much more congested, so it's been quite a task for us to weave between what is already underground. But going through DTSS 1, we are much better prepared when it comes to DTSS 2.
Well, I take great pride in having contributed the DTSS. It's something that is out of sight, out of mind. But I always tell them that it's something that they use it every day without knowing it.
I feel honoured and challenged and excited to come to work every day, even though it's been 25 years. We have formed a DTSS family where we're all working towards the common goal, which is delivering the DTSS a sustainable solution for Singapore's water needs.
We are actually a very tiny country with no resources. Even land is a constraint. So we need to look for solutions, water solutions, that in a way we can try to overcome our land constraint. In 1998, we made a study trip to the US to look at all the water reuse plants in US. And the next question is that in Singapore, are we ready for water reuse? NEWater allows us to close the water loop, the key to water management, to help us to overcome our land constraint. Surprisingly, the public acceptance of NEWater was quite high. I think it demonstrated in a way the public's high level of trust in PUB. PUB has a good track record. We have been supplying safe water to the population. So that reputation, the high level of trust, is something that is very sacred to us. It's hard to earn, easy to lose. Taking the DNA from our pioneers, so we cannot be complacent. We always must look for better ways to do things. I soon will be a pioneer myself, so what the pioneer has passed to me, I will pass it now to the next generations of young engineers. I hope they continue with this journey and do better than what our pioneers have done.
Our water story has been one of overcoming and achieving water security for Singapore against the odds. Going forward, water security continues to be an enduring mission for PUB. The second challenge for PUB in the long run is one brought about by climate change. Climate change will bring more intense rainfall, but also rising sea levels, and together they can directly threaten our low-lying nation. While PUB has tremendous ownership of our water system, clearly we can't do our job alone. Advancing water security for Singapore is a whole-of-nation effort. PUB has to embrace the mindset of working across agencies and with our stakeholders, and continue to work with industry to harness their strength, their innovation, and their capabilities for us to be able to do our job even better. I see PUB 60 as a very timely and meaningful platform to firstly reflect on our water story and draw strength and confidence as we chart our future together. It also allows us to celebrate and recognize the people who have been at the heart of our water story.
My words that I can impart to PUB staff is simply this:
The challenges of the past can be identified. The challenges of the future will become more difficult for you to identify. And therefore, you need agility of mind. You need to be able to change direction as you see climate change unfold in your generation. And our ethos of survival must always guide what we are doing into the future.
In PUB, we have a very compelling mission that gives us a tremendous sense of purpose in everything we do. It's important that we continue to embody the PUB spirit, the sense of mission, the can-do spirit, the family spirit, so that we will continue to be an exceptional national water agency even in the years to come.